Are you guys finally ready to admit that Rhonda and Brittany are the same person in different fonts? Rhonda screams and cusses and crashes out. Brittany cries and crashes out. They're doing the same behaviors, just in a different font. But where villainizing Rhonda need be, well deserved, and you guys are coddling Brittany. Why? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. Let's talk Married at First Sight, season 19, episode 10, Retreat and Defeat. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hype the video, leave your comments down below. All right. Let's get right into it. So, Derek and Megan, apparently we're getting ready for the couples retreat. Y'all know they go somewhere every year. So they decided they want to plant some different pranks in all the rooms of the couple retreat. So they have like fake toilet paper. They have like a fake cat noise or something. Play with somebody else. I don't like stuff like that. I don't like stuff like that. Play with somebody else. We find out that Rhonda will not be on the couples trip because her and Pat are going to be going and having a little family reunion with all her kids and grandkids. And I said, yes, Lord. Oh, I'm so happy Rhonda's not there because she'd have got on my last, okay? Josh and Jaylen. So they arrive after Megan and Derek, and they're walking around picking out a room, and they hear that cat. Now, they were like, is there a cat in here? You wouldn't have had me. I you see, I'm flustered about it. I would not have had the opportunity to ask, is that a cat? Because my bags would have been up and I've been walking right to production. It's a cat in here. I don't play like that. No, I don't play like that. Play with somebody else, okay? So Belinda apparently used the fake toilet paper, which is not perforated. So she was like, I had to put it on the floor and step on it and I said, "Oh, girl, and you still used it, Belinda? Oh my God!" But Belinda used it, and Megan was like, "I hope it's like okay, because otherwise we in trouble because we probably done clogged up these people's pipes because they got them in look like just a residential house. Like y'all couldn't take them. They said we're gonna take y'all to this nice neighborhood over here." Who Airbnb'd out their house? Oh my God. So they break into groups as usual, the guys and the girls, and we get some juxtaposition with the guys talking about their relationships and the women talking about it on their side. So Will is letting the guys know that he thought that he was being transparent with Brittany, but it throws her off. Will is being transparent with Brittany. It's just not what she wants to hear. Meanwhile, Brittany is saying that will say all the right things, and then he'll say one thing at the end that throws her off, and that's what she fixates on. Will is then telling the guys that he loves Brittany. He has love for her, but he's not in love with her. And that makes a lot of sense. Like, we hear all the time that people will say, I have love for you, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I have a lot of male friends that I love them down, but I'm not in love with them. And the way that these guys were making it seem as if it's crazy that after a month, I just kind of feel like for me, I would feel differently if, and I say this every season, but I would feel differently if the show went the span of like a year. You know what I mean? But it's been a month of which they've been kind of back and forth with arguing, right? Will points out that the expert said that he was too logical. So I want to double back to what Brittany said, where Brittany said that Will say all the right things and then one thing would throw her off, and that's what she chooses to fixate on. I have said that Brittany is too in her head and that Brittany is in control of her emotions and Brittany is in like uh, I'm in control of my emotions. You're in control of your emotions. Brittany is in control of her emotions. And y'all tore me up in the comments about how I'm too hard on her and I'm too this, that, and the other. In this episode, all throughout this episode, Brittany is acknowledging and admitting that she is too in her head. She's saying it over and over and over, over and over and over. So Jaylen is telling the girls about Josh's infatuation with festivals. And that she was saying that I guess Pastor Cal was telling him that, he'll start going to these festivals by himself. You can go to Burning Man, which y'all were giving me more information about Burning Man. Girl, Jaylen, girl, don't go to that bullshit. So they're saying that maybe Josh will start going to these by himself, and then he'll be like, "Oh man, I wish that I could do something like this with Jaylen," and he'll, kind of phase out of it. I don't think he needs to phase out of it personally. I think that Burning Man can be something that Josh does with his friends, with his community, and it's just not something that Jaylen wants to be a part of. The issue is that Josh really wants her to be, and I think it's because Josh's view of what community is, I don't want to say skewed because community to you is community to you, but we dig a little deeper into this, right? So Josh apparently that morning when they were packing to come on the trip, Josh told Jaylen that he wanted to build a community. The two of them, that they can build a community, and that way they would get that same feeling that he gets from Burning Man. Now Jaylen is telling him, well, we have community, like we don't have to build one. We find community with like friends and stuff. Josh does not view that as community. To him, that's hanging out with friends, right? And I thought that was really interesting because when I think about community, right? I have different communities. I have my work community, my people that I rock and sock with at work, my coworkers that are like in my department, that I just know in the company, the people that like when we travel for different conferences, that is a community. We eat together, we hang out together, we party together. That is a community. But I also have my community of people that I went to high school with. I'm still really good friends with them. I'm still really good friends with people that I went to elementary school with. That is another community. I have community with people that I've just met, just, out and about, being out and kicking it in your 20s. And it's interesting that while most people feel that that is community, Josh sees that as just hanging out with friends. So, what would have really helped them in this conversation is if Jaylen would have simply asked Josh to explain what community is to him. Because he could have responded, or he would have, that it's the feeling that he gets. She then could have segued into, okay, but like, do you not get that feeling with your friends? And it could have opened up a broader conversation. Instead, Jaylen chooses to be offended by this. So Jaylen is telling her mother that uh, Josh does not see community in her. And Belinda explains to him, or explains to Jaylen, well, he just doesn't know community outside of his festivals. Belinda was my MVP this entire episode. I think she gave great advice to everybody. Everybody that she had a conversation with, I think she gave really good advice to. And so Jaylen is now saying that she feels that Josh does not appreciate her because she has all these different communities, and she's taking offense to that. And I was with Belinda, baby, this has nothing to do with you. How are you saying that Josh wants to find community as him not appreciating you? How are the two connected, right? So we get to dinner, and Will is asking Derek his favorite thing about Megan. So we have a cute little moment where Megan is like humor. And, she's smart, like telling him what to say. But Derek ultimately says that they just have a good time together. Brittany says that she appreciates Will's mind and said that he is uniquely him, and she will never come across a person like him again. I was like, that shade. And then she said that he is an amazing human. Will said that Brittany is sweet, she's smart. He appreciates that she offers different perspectives on different things, and he enjoys being around her and next to her. Chad said that Belinda glows and she's a great mom, and he feels like he can relax with her and be himself around her. Jaylen, this was a trip. Jaylen was saying that as long as her mom is happy, that's all she cares about. Basically on some, if my marriage doesn't work out, who cares? My mom is happy. And you can tell by the way that they zoomed in on Josh's face, he didn't particularly care for that, and I didn't either. I feel like there's one thing to say before meeting somebody and getting married, but for you to say that with Josh sitting right there, I thought that was kind of rude. So Josh and Jaylen are talking in the bedroom after dinner, and she lets him know that she is frustrated that he does not find community in her. Jaylen, the way that you flipped this and made this about yourself and made me be on Josh's side, I'm disgusted with you. Completely and utterly disgusted with you. You got me over here on Josh's side about this now. The nigga that wants to go get high and dance and emphasize over at the Burning Man, okay? So, Jaylen is saying that her strong suit is bringing people together. She is community. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jaylen. I was with Josh, girl, I believe you, but we haven't seen it, right? So when Josh said, I believe you, I haven't had a chance to see it. Jaylen said, well, we went to spin class. Community is not going to a spin class. Community would have been y'all hanging out afterwards, and then y'all going to like go get dinner afterwards, and then y'all are hanging out there. That is a sense of community. I've been to spin class. Them heifers ain't my community. They some heifers that I spin with. You know what I mean? And I think that's the disconnect for Josh and Jaylen. And the bigger issue is that instead of Jaylen taking the time to explain why spin class is community to her, she took it as a dig for whatever reason. And I think the bigger issue that Jaylen missed is that's your community. That's yours. You spin. You enjoy spin class. That's not what Josh does. So Josh is like, to me, that's just a friend hanging out. Again, another opportunity, right? Another opportunity to dig deep into what he views as community. So Josh says that growing up, he was not able to play sports and he was an introvert until he was 28 years old. Do you just grow out of introvertism? I think people throw around introvert way too much. But so because he was not able to play sports growing up, he doesn't have a real sense on what community is, right? And you do build a sense of community by playing sports. I've played sports my entire life. Basketball, volleyball, I was a cheerleader. I ran track in high school. So like, yeah, there is a different level of community that you know what it is, you know how to be a part of, you know what you're looking for, is it? Josh saying that he has only viewed Burning Man as community is a little interesting based on what I've read about it. But what Jaylen is once again missing, okay, while she's giving Will so much advice on the questions he should be asking, you're not asking questions yourself, Jaylen. I've always felt that when these couples try to give each other advice, it's just the blind leading the blind on here. However, instead of Jaylen asking, so what is it about Burning Man specifically? Are these people that you talk to outside, of this activity or this festival? Do you talk to them outside of the year? The remainder of the year? What do you guys talk about? Is it that you guys have like interests? Like, what is it about Burning Man specifically? Do you feel that you won't get that feeling anywhere else? Josh is saying that he does not understand her spin friends as community because she didn't explain it to you, Josh. That's why. Jaylen is saying that my class, that's community, and she didn't take the time to explain why she felt it was community. She was too busy being upset that Josh does not see her as the grand dame of community. That's what she was upset about. And instead of her taking the time to explain it, she's sliding down the wall. I'm like, what are you crying for? Shut up. What are you? Shut the fuck up, Jaylen, because what are you crying for? Like, she had me so tight because I could not believe that she's crying about this. So then finally, and I think just to shut her up, and to appease her, Josh is like, oh, now I understand your friends are community. One, Josh, you knew what the fuck she was talking about. On one hand, you knew what she was talking about. But two, I also just kind of feel like Jaylen, I don't understand how you made this about you. I don't understand how you made this about you. This was silly. We ain't seen you hang out with nobody but your mama, and you want us to believe that you out here collecting friends like Infinity Stones? Girl, bye. Go to sleep, Jaylen. Try again tomorrow. Your sweatshirt wrinkled anyways. So we then get we get Brittany and Will and Megan and Derek. They are outside playing. Was that pickleball? Tennis pickleball? They playing something. So Will is saying how he and Brittany have two different ways of communicating and processing things. And Brittany is like, so is it how I phrase things? Um, and you need me to clarify? Is that because that's my issue with you? Is that your issue with me? And Will was like, I don't harp on things like that. I can get over things quickly. In that moment, Will is not answering her question, right? That's not what she asked you. She didn't ask how fast you can get over it. She asked, is that your issue with her, right? So now Brittany is like, well, what do you need me to work on? And she's badgering him about it. So Will is like, nothing. All right, it's fine. I get over things quickly. Some people do, right? I get over things quickly. I get over things quickly. So now Brittany is like, okay, I guess I'm perfect. I guess you're telling me I'm perfect. Am I perfect? Am I perfect? And I along with Will, got irritated with it because one, let me get through this. So Will is like, okay, sometimes I don't know how to maneuver through your feelings. This morning, you were in a bad mood, and so I just decided to wait until you were ready to tell me what was wrong. So now she's asking him if he's irritated, and he was like, yes, because Brittany is saying that she did not understand or know that her being in a bad mood would affect him. I'm gonna pause right there. That statement, that statement shows that, and I'm not coming down on Brittany, I'm gonna give it to Will in a minute. That statement right there shows that Brittany is not aware of anybody else or doesn't care about anybody else's feelings but hers. Because by no means could you possibly think that you are married to this man, y'all are sharing a room together, y'all are sharing a bed together, and you don't think that you having a bad mood or being in a mood or being whatever is not going to affect him. So the fact that Brittany is like, oh, I didn't know that it would affect you. I don't believe that at all. I think that Brittany purposely did that because she wants to see emotion out of Will. She said this numerous times. She has said this. She wants Will to scream and shout, and some people just aren't like that. I'm not a person, I don't show. It takes a lot to get me angry. For one, I get irritated quick as fuck. But it takes a lot to get me angry. But I've never been a person that as soon as I'm irritated, I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm irritated, y'all. I'm irritated. I'm not that type of person either, right? So the fact that she was so aloof about that, I thought was interesting and weird, right? So Brittany keeps going on and on. So Will was like, okay, well, next time I'll do a better job at letting you know that I'm irritated. So she keeps going on and on and on about it. And my thing is, at what point is Brittany gonna realize you can't force somebody to talk? You know what I mean? Brittany made this entire situation worse. And if y'all are dead set on saying that she didn't in this particular scene, y'all just want, y'all just want to take her side without being fair. There's no way that you watched this particular scene and thought that Will was 100% in the wrong when Brittany is badgering him on top of it in front of another couple. in front of another couple, right? So Megan and Derek are like, this is awkward as fuck. So Megan and Brittany go walking, and Brittany is like, Will is so moody. I don't think he realizes how moody he is. And Megan is like, oh, I would have checked him. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. You barely checked Derek's ass. You walk away. You would have walked away, Megan. So Brittany is saying that she could tell that he was irritated and she wanted him to tell her why. I guess for me, if I know that somebody is irritated, I give that person space. But if somebody is irritated and you're asking them, are you irritated? Why? Why? And you're doing that constantly, that's not going to make the person do anything but jap out at you, right? So then Brittany said that she struggles with if he doesn't want to tell her things in the moment because he doesn't want confrontation or he just doesn't care. That is a Brittany problem, right? That is a Brittany problem because Brittany's in her head too much. Brittany's overthinking everything. Instead of Brittany just kind of going with the flow and seeing what happens with this marriage and with this relationship, she in her mind, she came into this with a list of things, right? She came in with an agenda. I want us to do this by this date. By this date, we should be this. By this date, we should be that. By this date, we should be that. It's almost as if Brittany didn't account for the 50-50 chance that this wouldn't work. Right? So Brittany is then asking, why can't he be vulnerable with her? Brittany, you just found out 2 days ago that you're not vulnerable either. You admitted that you're not vulnerable. You admitted that you had your guard up and you just didn't realize. So why couldn't you be vulnerable with him? Y'all see, like, do y'all see? Okay. So Brittany is now saying once again that she does not think that she is the one for him, and she wants him to just tell her because she doesn't think that he likes her. Do I think that Will likes her? I think he does. Do I think that Will sees her as the one for him? I don't. But I think that Will does like her. Will is affectionate with her. He absolutely is. It's just not in the way that Brittany wants. So Will is talking to Derek, and Will is saying that Brittany hyper focuses on things, and she does. She does. So he said that she is always thinking, and Will, you are always thinking. But he said that Brittany is always thinking that everything that he says or feels is about her. And he used the example of, well, this morning she asked him, how did he sleep? He said, well, we're sharing a full-size bed, so I kind of tossed and turned all night. Her response to that was, are you tossing and turning because I was tossing and turning? And I can see Brittany having that thing. And I kind of feel like for somebody like Will that is very nonchalant about things, very laid back, and Brittany is a person that needs constant reassurance, it's just never going to work because they are always going to miss each other when it comes to communication. So Derek said that when she's asking questions, when Brittany is, that is her way to try to connect and relate to him. I understand what Derek is saying, but what's happening? And I'm going to get to it when Belinda talks to Brittany. What's happening is Brittany is navigating through this the only way that she knows how to. Will is navigating through this the way that he knows how to. And Brittany is pissed and upset that he's not navigating this the way that she wants him to. Right? It's not a matter of Brittany wanting to come in the middle. Brittany wants Will to completely move the way that she wants him to because it's on her agenda, her checklist. He's not going down and checking all these boxes in the order the way that she wants him to. And because of that, it causes her to crash out constantly. So we get to Josh and Jaylen. They go bike riding, and he was using some spin class talk with her to kind of motivate her. It was cute or whatever. And then they talk about the stupid argument that they had the night before. And Jaylen is saying that she feels like she doesn't have a safe space with him because he made it all about himself. Actually, you made it about you. Jaylen, I'm gonna be real with you. You made it about you. The issue is that Josh is looking for a community, and instead of you trying to understand what community is for him, so that you can figure out a way with him for him to find that without Burning Man, you made it into, well, I should be your community, and you don't appreciate me because I am the fun girl and I bring community and everybody flocks to me. You made it about you. That's the issue, Jaylen. Discussed it with you. So, Brittany and Belinda. So, Brittany sitting up there crying to Belinda, saying that Will is not able to open up to her and there must be a reason why. And I just feel like that's the pot calling the kettle black, because we just saw Brittany with the experts and she had this realization, the light bulb went over her head, that she is not vulnerable or open with Will either. So I don't understand this, but the difference again between Brittany and Rhonda is that Brittany cries and Rhonda screams. So it's easier for people to say, "Oh, well, Brittany's not doing anything wrong." And I'm not saying Brittany is wrong, right? But if we're gonna see who's tipping the scales here, Brittany is causing a lot of the friction. So Brittany is telling Belinda, well, Will opens up to Chad. And Belinda said, yeah, but he doesn't have to prove himself to Chad. Brittany acknowledges, okay, maybe I'm in my head. Maybe I just don't think that I'm getting what I'm giving. Brittany is not vulnerable. Brittany's not vulnerable, y'all. She's not. Because the same way that Will is not being very direct and straightforward about his feelings, Brittany's not either. Brittany is pestering him about hers. We see in the preview for upcoming that Brittany says I love you to him, but Brittany is not saying, Will, I need you to do this better. Will, I need you to reassure me more. Will, she's not doing that either. She's not being direct with him. My thing is, if you notice somebody is very analytical, is very direct, why not try to meet him halfway? Brittany is refusing to do that. So Belinda is like, well, maybe Will is in his head. We know that he, overthinks a lot. And then Jaylen, who is constantly up in her mama's business, it's like, yeah, Will is very analytical. I didn't realize that until like now. So Belinda said, look, maybe Will is just a slow burn. She also challenges Brittany the same way that Dr. Pia did, that if you got the opportunity to look at you all, you would see the affection that he is showing you. And Brittany gets quiet because she knows that he is. It's just not the way that she feels he should be doing it. So Belinda explains that, look, Will is doing this the way that he knows how to. And then Jaylen is like, but it's not working. Shut the fuck up. What you got going on is not working right now either, Jaylen. I feel like, truth be told, I feel like Jaylen and Megan were hyping her up, hyping Brittany up, instead of being real with her about it. Sometimes, Brittany, it's okay to not pester somebody. You know what I mean? So when Belinda explained that Will is doing the only way that he knows how to show, and y'all are new. I'm so happy that Belinda realizes that they just met each other a couple of weeks ago. Belinda is like, y'all are new. You can't expect him to be the way that you want him to be because you want him to be that way. I'm not understanding the disconnect with Brittany or with Will. And I get it. I've seen all the comments in the comment section. Brittany doesn't deserve this. No, nobody deserves to feel like they are not wanted. Nobody does. However, Will is not treating her like he does not want her. He has a different communication style. Look, we're not talking about Ikechi and MM, right? Where last season, where Ikechi was basically telling this lady he didn't like her. He called her aggressive. He was shutting her down. He wasn't having a conversation with her. That is somebody showing you that they don't like you. Will's not doing that. Will is attentive to her. Will is listening to her. She just doesn't like the way that he delivers his words. And instead of her being a real bitch about hers and telling him that, she rather go cry and say is that he's not doing this and I deserve this and I deserve that. Truth be told, we haven't seen Brittany switch up anything either. You know what I mean? You can't say Will's not trying when Brittany, you haven't tried to switch up anything either. Where has the growth been since y'all met with the experts? Because if you had took the experts' advice of telling him what you want and y'all having more open and honest communication, y'all wouldn't be arguing about this right here now. Y'all wouldn't be. Y'all would not still be in a place because you could have told Will what you were upset about that morning, but you didn't do that. Why? Because you're not vulnerable, Brittany. You still have your guard up as well. So I don't understand this. And sure, somebody can say, well, it's because Will is not creating a safe space for her. Is she creating a safe space for him too? It goes both ways. It just does. So Will is apologizing to Brittany for not telling her in the moment that I guess that he was irritated or whatever. So she was like, well, if it was such a big deal, and he was like, but it wasn't a big deal. If it were a big deal, a big thing to me, then I would have mentioned it. She doesn't like that answer. That is the I don't know what she wanted to hear in that moment. She doesn't like that answer. She starts crying. He immediately is like, what's wrong? What are the tears for? He's asking, he's in tune with her emotions. She doesn't see that. He pulls her into a hug. She doesn't see that. She doesn't get that. He tells her, I know that I need to be softer on some things. And yes, you do. You do. You got to work on your delivery, Will. I got to work on my delivery too. Okay, you have to work on your delivery, but I feel like we see that Will is somewhat trying with her. Brittany's not trying back. That's the thing. Brittany has been on the same path the entire time. And as much as y'all want to say that Brittany has done, somebody said in my comments, Brittany has done a 180. No, she hasn't. She hasn't. Brittany has been on the same path the entire time. She hasn't switched up a damn thing. So Brittany is saying that there has to be a reason he isn't able to open up to her. So he asks her, what does vulnerability look like to her? Right? If she feels that he is vulnerable, what does that look like? She then says, I don't know, like, do you trust me enough to open up? She was like, because, in my mind, you don't care. And Will was like, why do you think that I don't care? Why do you think that I don't care? So then her response is, well, I know that you care about me. And this is what irritates me about Brittany. If you feel that he doesn't care, tell him. Don't just say it back because you think that that's what is going to get him to like you more. If you think this man does not care about you, tell him and explain why. Right? So then Brittany acknowledges for the second time this episode that maybe she is in her head too much. You are. I feel like Brittany is forcing it. She then asks again if she is his person. And she was like, is the emotional connection, do we have an emotional connection? And he was like, it could be stronger. So her response was, but we have one. He was like, yeah, we have one. I'm saying it could be stronger. She asks him what's missing, and he said, if I knew, like, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I think what's missing is Will is not a person that wants to give a bunch of reassurance, and Brittany needs it. So somebody's gonna have to acquiesce to the other, and it's gonna have to be Will, right? If you want this to work with Brittany, you have to give her more reassurance. You have to. So, but what I thought was interesting, because if I would have heard it could be stronger, in my mind, personally, that means that we have a connection. What can we do together to make this stronger? I would have never thought that we don't have one. Because if there is no emotional connection, the answer is no. It could be stronger, indicates stronger. That indicates that yes, it is strong. Let's make it stronger, more strong. So I think that Brittany is dedicated, dedicated to this theory that Will doesn't like her. I feel like Will could jump up on that couch like Tom Cruise did to Katie Holmes, and Brittany would still say, I don't know if he really meant it. He only jumped 2 times. Like, I thought for sure he would have jumped 3 or 4. That's how Brittany would take it. I think she is dedicated to the misery. So we then have Rhonda and Pat. I said I thought we was gonna get through this episode without them. Rhonda's bitching about some bullshit as usual. Her and Pat, they doing some little ugly painting outside. They needed more materials. So they're on their way to the store. Pat tells her, hey, I got us some tickets to a concert. While the average woman would be like, oh my God, okay, date night, I see you. Rhonda is like, oh, well, you didn't check my calendar. So she says we need to get like a shared calendar. They're talking about this. They get to the store and Pat asks the man, hey, where are your gloves? Rhonda's mad about this because I guess she wants to talk about the fucking calendar in the damn store. Rhonda, I am so sick and tired of you. I just feel like you want to complain at this point. Talk about some when we got in the car, I was shut down because we're having it. Talking about a fucking calendar is not important, sis. I'm going to be real with you, Rhonda. Getting on my nerves, sis. Because this is silly at this point. Shut the fuck up, Rhonda. I'm so sick of Rhonda, y'all. I might not even talk about Rhonda next episode. I promise you, I might not even talk about Rhonda. Because I'm getting to the point now where I don't even want to talk about her. Because I feel like you complaining just for the sake of it. Y'all went to the store for a reason. Like, what is he supposed to say? Hold on, sir. Let's stand here in Hobby Lobby and talk about calendars for 20 minutes and then we can get the gloves. No. Him walking away to get the Josh and Jaylen and Belinda and Chad figured out, or I guess they found Megan and them told them we did all these pranks, so they go outside and pummel them with water balloons. Megan is mad because she has to wash her hair. Wash your hair, you nasty heifer. Wash it. You gonna take a shower, ain't you? Wash the hair. So we get to dinner, and Chad made some gumbo. Okay, and then they had guacamole. I said, oh. Okay. It's provocative, gets the people going. So they're sitting at dinner, and I forgot how we got here, but Will gives the example of how he said they could be more connected. Throughout this entire scene, Brittany is getting more and more all but a weep. Okay. Megan and Jaylen take Brittany's side and say that if they would have heard our connection could be stronger, that they would take that to mean that there is no connection as well. And I just do not see that. I'm sorry, but I personally don't see that. If somebody says we could be more connected or something could be stronger, I take that as we have a connection and we just need to strengthen it more. That's how I take it. You know what I mean? If somebody makes cookies and they're like, "How do these taste, Tammy?" and I say they could be a little sweeter, so that means that they got a little sweetness to them, but not the sweetness that we need. So but that is again a prime example of them processing things differently, right? Brittany crying about this, I don't understand. This is nothing to cry about. I think what made Brittany's tears worse were the fact that Megan and Jaylen were hyping her up. But you see who was quiet? Belinda. Because Belinda has already told Brittany that she is two in her head earlier today. Belinda has already told Brittany that Will is doing what he knows how to do and Brittany is doing what she knows how to do. You just had this conversation. So then we see Brittany get up and excuse herself to the bathroom. Will should have went after her. You should have got your ass up, Will, and went after your wife. But we hear Brittany saying, this always happens to me. So what that tells me is that Brittany is in her head every single time. If this is always happening to you, sis, if this is always happening, there is a common denominator. I'm not saying that Brittany is a terrible person. I'm not saying that I don't think Brittany deserves love or anything like that. But at some point, at some point we have to look at all of Brittany's actions, right? Has Will been wrong? Yes. Yes, Will needs to be softer with her. You have to learn that the direct approach that you talk to people is not one size fits all. People are not a monolith, right? As I've told y'all, y'all know I'm a very direct person. I had to realize that in my comments, I can't respond to everybody the same way. Some of y'all take everything I say as an argument in the comments, and some of y'all understand, oh, that is just how Tammy talks. Tammy talks. Double entendre. But you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like with Will, clearly how you've been talking to people in the past don't work either. Right? But the issue is that neither one of them are willing to acquiesce to the other. And I still stand very, very, very firm that Brittany is in control and has to be more responsible of her own emotions. Will is showing affection to you. He is in the way that he knows how to show affection. Does Will need to learn how to show affection to you a different way? Yes, but it's not going to happen overnight. Brittany also has to realize, baby, you are not vulnerable. You're not. You're expecting something out of Will that you're not giving. And you could make the argument that maybe if Will was more vulnerable, she would feel safer to be more vulnerable. And it very well could be the opposite too. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hype this. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye.